Hi everyone, how have you all been? Can you hear me clearly this time? Last time the microphone did not turn on, which is bizarre, so random when that happens. Yes, I have heard of that spirit hero, don't worry, we'll make mention of that. And yes, in answer to your question, the Ninder, yes, I have been doing these live streams, these live streams early, or earlier. At least last week's live stream and this week's, is because I'm still not quite feeling well. So by doing the streams earlier, it's just easier on me. The later I do it, I don't know. It's like usually I would do the streams more in the evening, but like with any cold, it usually gets worse in the evening. So I've tried to do them a few hours earlier, like in the afternoon or late afternoon, rather than evening or mid-evening, if you know what I mean. Oh, Spirit Hero, was your birthday yesterday. Well, happy belated birthday. The Time Shadow. Great to see you here. I actually have not seen you in the last couple streams, so it's really good to see you here again. Have I seen Madam Web yet? No, I haven't. It's... Me and my brother want to watch it when we have time, and we want to hate watch it. But no, I haven't seen it yet. I am very excited, though. Not for the reason Sony want me to be. I'm just going to rip that movie a new one, but in a fun way. That's great. That's great you can all hear me. And just thought I could give you a quick update. I'm still not feeling well. In fact, it's like this cough that you hear me do, when I'm doing nothing, I can just feel the coughs are like trying to reach the surface. But when it comes to doing voiceovers, if I try to like put my voiceover voice on, I just start coughing a bunch. So I can't do much of my voiceovers right now. My voice, I've not lost it now, which is good. My voice has come back. But still, I'm constantly being interrupted when I'm doing the voiceovers with a bunch of coughing. So I'm still sort of like in the recovery phase. So I've just been doing little edits here and there. So I did a little bit of the voice recording for my Avatar The Last Airbender versus video with the Netflix show versus the animated show. And I've also, as well as doing a bit of that voiceover, I've just edited bits of the video. And I've also edited a video which should be uploaded tomorrow if all goes to plan. I've just been doing touch-ups on that and little voiceovers there as well. So I've tried to do a little bit of editing, but I'm not able to do the full-on editing that I usually do. So yeah, that's basically what's going on right now, is I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of editing and doing the work, but on top of all that stuff I just mentioned, my mind just doesn't feel like it's got that energy that it usually used to have. So I'm still going through essentially the flu that I had. I feel like it's not, even though it might not seem as apparent on me, I feel like it's still there. It's still affecting my energy and my attention span and everything. Big Bash, the Insomniac Spider-Man versus video is doing good. Ooh, I got a super chat. That reminds me, I gotta get my super chat book out. That video is something that I want to get done as soon as I get done the... What was it? I'm going to do the Avatar video. I'm going to do the Puss in Boots video, which got commissioned on Patreon and got requested by one of you guys. I'm going to do those two. Then I'm going to start work on that Spider-Man versus video. So that's what I'll be doing. Failsafe. I don't know if you're a new viewer or if you've changed your name. A lot of you seem to like changing your names. It really throws me off my game. But thank you very much for the $2 super chat. I always say to you guys that these super chats always help. And let me just write it down, then I'll answer it for you. And this is the last day of March, so any super chats or Streamlabs chats that you guys give, it all goes towards the revenue I get for next month. So thank you very much. I appreciate, as always, these super chats and Streamlabs chats from you guys. And Failsafe just says, "Oh, hey Eric, I hope you get better soon." Oh, that's nice. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I hope I get better soon as well, because I want to get back to making videos. In fact, I've actually... Ghostbusters Frozen Empire's come out. I've still not seen that. I've not seen Dune, and the Godzilla movie's coming out. I've not seen that either. So the cold that I've got, it really has put like slowed things down. Unfortunately, I really wish it hadn't, but I'm not gonna do videos on those. At least I don't right at the moment. I don't think. So we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm just trying to focus on the videos that I've got because due to my cold, they've got pushed back. So I'm gonna try to focus on those without overwhelming myself with others. And of course, Gregory did went to my Patreon and commissioned a versus video. So I'm gonna have to make that versus video for him as well. So that's also on my list of stuff to do. The Time Shadow says, would you be interested in Sam Raimi making a Spider-Man 4? I would be, but only if Sony leave him to it. Otherwise, don't bother. That's my prerogative on it. Now, I've got, it seems, a Streamlab chat from one of you. Let's take a look and see who it is. Yako, the Volcanic Muto, is here watching the stream. That's great. Thank you very much for the donation, buddy. Let me just write it down here. And he's donated £1.19. Thank you very much for that, buddy. He says, "Hey Eric, it's been a while. How are you? I've been doing well, I've been having my ups and downs, but I'm feeling better now, even though I'm still not fully recovered. I've recently released my new fan film, Yako 2, Cataclysm, and will start on Yako 3, Awakening of Hope soon." Oh, cool. "I also recently got back to college, and I saw Godzilla x Kong. Both are awesome so far." That's what I've heard. A lot of people say that Godzilla x Kong, they say it's a very fun movie, even though it is very silly. But I think we all kind of knew what that movie was going to be when we saw the trailer. So I think if you go in saying that the movie is silly, it just makes you look silly. It's like, yeah, they straight up told you it was going to be silly. Oh, hey, Joey Nichols and Rohan. Great to see all of you here. Jess, great to see you here as well. Jess says, "Eric, you look like you haven't slept in days." Well, my eczema has cropped up. Remember I said I had COVID, the flu, and my eczema cropped up. My eczema is going away, but it came around my eyes, like patches around my eyes. I had a patch over here and a patch over here, which seems to be going away. But yeah, the eczema does seem to be going away, but yeah, probably that's why I look exhausted. But I do feel more tired lately too, so yeah. Oh, Big Bash, your name was Pokemon Game of the Third. I do vaguely remember that now as well, yeah. Let's see. Eric, you look like you got bruised up. I hope you're okay. Yeah, it's the eczema, don't worry guys. If you're talking about around my eyes, it's the eczema. It gives you these dark patches and it makes you feel itchy and stuff. The itch has not really been there on my eyes very much. I just tend to rub them because, you know, they tend to itch just right over here, but hopefully it'll get better. But no, I'm not bruised up or anything. I'm fine. Well, I'm not fine. I've got cuts in my fingers too. You can't see those, but they hurt when you just extend a finger. You rip, your cut starts to extend and rip and open up. But I'm hanging in there basically. I've been through far worse, so this is much easier on me than some of the other things I've had to go through. Pizza Man says, "Eric, what are your thoughts on George Lucas being Disney's biggest shareholder?" Yeah, that's been a thing, hasn't it? It was unexpected. I did not expect him to do that, especially considering he's been throwing shade at Disney. Remember when he called them white slavers, and we found out Bob Iger betrayed him, and Bob Iger even said in his book that he felt that George Lucas felt betrayed by how they handled Star Wars and how they essentially lied to him when he sold it to them. So yeah, it is bizarre that he would do that. My guess is that he most likely looked at the plans of the other people, shareholders that are trying to get onto the other people that are trying to get onto the seats, like Nelson Peltz. I think he's looked at their pitches for what they want to do, and maybe their pitches are so bad that he thought, you know what, might as well stick with Bob Iger. That's what my guess is, if I had to guess. But I don't know for sure. Jess, yes, I can see you in the chat. I've already said your name a couple times as well. Let's see. Saeed says he hasn't watched those movies because of Ramadan, so I can understand that. I understand the whole thing of that month where you're supposed to, I think it's be more closer to the faith. So that's understandable. That's fine. That's Totally understandable, and that's actually very good that you're able to withhold yourself from going to see a movie that you really want to see. Fail. Oh, fail safe. $5 super chat. Thank you very much again. Like I said, guys, these super chats help a great deal. Failsafe says, my channel name used to be Master Combatant, but my real name is Ryan. I liked seeing your name Master Combatant. I thought that was a badass name. And whenever I would say Master Combatant has given us a $5 super chat or whatever, I always kind of enjoyed that. But that's a shame. I'll see if I can try to remember that it's you. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not very good when it comes to remembering, because I used to remember like when the odd one of you used to change your name, but now so many of you have changed your name, it's hard for me to keep track. Yeah, Spirit Hero, Bob Iger wrote a book a few years ago. I think it was before Rise of Skywalker came out, which is what pissed people off. They were like, so you betray George Lucas, and right around the corner you've got your Rise of Skywalker movie coming out. Is this supposed to be good publicity? It's like these people at Disney are like just completely out of touch. Mr. Movie Man, I'm feeling better, but I still haven't recovered. That's why the videos are coming out slower, but, oh yeah, it is April Fool's tomorrow, isn't it? Says, from what Jess says there. But yeah, I should have a video coming out for you guys tomorrow. It's Marvel related, and it's talking about something that happened recently. And then my Let's Binge Watch of Echo should come out soon after, finally. That was a video that was supposed to come out way quicker, but then stuff started happening. I started getting a cold, so even that fell backwards. And yeah, it's a shame. That's a shame, that is. But yeah, finally the video will be out, and then of course I've got other videos I'm working on, so hopefully you guys can, you know, have that to look forward to. Okay, I was just about to move on to the story, and then Failsafe, aka Master Combatant, just did another super chat. Let's see. Thank you very much again for the $5 super chat, buddy. Let me write it down here in my book. Alright, have you watched Kung Fu Panda 4? I think you should make a versus video with it, but in my opinion, it's like a 5 out of 10. Ooh, a 5 out of 10. That's interesting, that is. No, I haven't seen it. I still haven't seen Kung Fu Panda 3. I do want to see the Kung Fu Panda movies again, because I've only seen them, like, the first two movies once. And I think I do need to see them again. So then I can see 3 and 4. Spirit Hero says, hey Eric, when you say the F word in your last video, it took me completely by surprise. I never heard you say that word before. I have said that word before, but usually I'll mute it out. I did mute it out the last time, did I? What was my last video? Oh yeah, it was the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League video. Yeah. I think I muted it out, or beeped it out. Failsafe or Master Combatant has done another super chat, and I am actually glad to hear him say that. He goes, I might change my name back. Yeah, change it back. Master Combatant was a fantastic name. In fact, if you wanted to make videos yourself on your YouTube channel, a name like Master Combatant sounds like a channel that I would normally click on and say, let's see what other videos they've made. That's a badass name. You should stick with it and embrace it. Wow. The Ninder says he gives it a 4 out of 10. Jess says, I heard Kung Fu Panda 4 is mediocre. Pizza Man says Kung Fu Panda 4 is mid. Big Bash says, my brother and his friend saw Kung Fu Panda 4 and they thought it was generic. Wow. Mr. Movie Man, Kung Fu Panda 4 is above average. Whoa. Man, no mercy to Kung Fu Panda 4. Sounds like a disappointment. That's a shame. Rohan says, it's so fun to have you back. Well, it is always fun to be back, and it's so fun to chat with you guys. Let's see then. Jacob said, I don't care about Kung Fu Panda. Jake, great to see you again, Jake, says, Kung Fu Panda 4 wasn't that bad in my opinion. Yet again, anything seems better than Megamind 2. Yep, that's understandable. And see, a lot of people are saying Master Combatant is a great name, so yeah. Great to see you here, Jake, as well. I'm glad to see a lot of you here. Normally I always think most of you are not going to be here, or something will, or, you know, because timing-wise, it's hard to pick a time for a live stream where all of you are here. But I'm very glad that you're all here now. Or the majority of you are, so that's great. We're just missing Adam Grunther, I think. So, yeah. Yeah, Pizza Man, who gave them that name, I wonder. That's okay, Jake. Like I say, it's great just to have you on the stream, so thank you for joining. I really do appreciate it. I'm so glad you're here. And you've outdone yourself with donations this month, so thank you very, very much. Although this is the second time you've told me you're in a hotel, so that's during a live stream, so you must have a very interesting, explorative life out there. Yeah, Spirit Hero Adam does usually show up later. Okay. So, let's see. Are you guys ready to move on to our first story? In fact, I don't think I've looked. What order have I put it in? Yep, I've got it in the right order. You travel a lot, Jake. Yeah, that's... I do feel like traveling a lot myself lately. I went to an orchestra, I think it was last month, with the London Orchestra in my location. They don't normally come around here. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of John Williams music and Hans Zimmer music being played, and that was great to actually hear. And I recorded a bunch of it on my phone as well. Oh, Sento, great to see you here as well. The Dark Lord says, let's begin. Yes, indeed, let's begin. So, first story. Thunderbolts. Now, the reason I'm bringing up Thunderbolts is because this movie has been announced for a while, but it was also, as you can see, it was meant to have all of these characters here. Before we get to it, though, Failsafe has given me a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I will say that I hate the villain. But what I hate even more is the disrespect to Tai Lung. He's one of the greatest villains ever. That was unforgivable. Are you talking about Kung Fu Panda? I would think. I don't know the characters' names in Kung Fu Panda. I've forgotten them. So, I'm sorry to say. Just quickly say yes or no if it is. In the meantime, I got to quickly answer someone else's Streamlabs chat. Oh no, it's not a Streamlabs chat. Oh, that was weird then. Well, that I even got that. Let's see what. I swear it just told me I got a message from someone. Oh no, that was 11 minutes ago. Oh, okay, that's all right. Let's see. Yep, okay, it does seem to be. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, that's a shame, because if you are talking about Kung Fu Panda, the villains are usually good, especially the villain voiced by Gary Oldman in the second one, so I can imagine that would be disappointing. Okay, so, thank you very much for the super chat. Let's go back to the story. Now, as you can see right here, forgive me, my throat is still recovering too. Okay, so as you can see, this is supposed to be, essentially, Marvel's Suicide Squad, the Thunderbolts. It's supposed to be all these leftover characters. If you remember, the CW did Legends of Tomorrow, which basically took all the leftover characters from Arrow and Flash and basically just put them all together in a random team. That's what the Thunderbolts is supposed to be. And this movie was supposed to have been filmed a long time ago, but they actually stopped filming it so they could rewrite the whole script, basically. And then, as well as rewriting the script, the writer's strikes happened, so that delayed the writing of the script, and so on and so forth. So this movie just recently started to start shooting, basically. And Florence Pugh decided to do a video where she was talking about, hi guys, and she was like, I can't tell you what was shooting, I can't show you what was shooting, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's have a peek. Now, there was something which was very interesting to me about this. This was clearly a marketing move, but the way it was done, I swear, it's like they were trying to make it seem like Florence Pugh was legitimately breaking the rules, even though she wasn't. And that's why she kept saying, I shouldn't be showing you this, but go on, let's have a peek, and all that kind of stuff. I was like, you're really trying to lay it on thick that this is something that you're not supposed to be doing, and that people are getting a sneak peek at a movie, like at a super secret movie that they're not allowed to be looking at. And I thought to myself, this seems like a rather desperate marketing move from Marvel. I mean, like I said, they try to make this seem like it's some kind of video that Florence Pugh should not be making, and that she's doing this against the studio's wishes. But she's not. Marvel shared this video of hers on their Twitter page, for crying out loud. So when I heard that, I was like, what the hell who are they trying to fool here? because they certainly were not fooling me. And so this is basically a very intentional marketing move from Marvel, and not a forbidden sneak peek like they're trying to make it seem like. And I think the reason they are doing this is because Marvel know that they don't have the same level of trust from their audience anymore. So they're trying to give the idea that Thunderbolts is this super secret movie that you're getting a super secret sneak peek of, because they know this is just another MCU project that most people won't care about. Because, I mean, if you look at these characters, let's move Florence Pugh out of the way here. If you look at all these characters here, who are the ones that you would really care about? I think most people will have forgotten about this. The villain from Ant-Man the Wasp, the second Ant-Man movie, the one that like teleports and all that kind of stuff. Most people have forgotten about this. Most people have forgotten about her. Most people have forgotten about, I think, David Harbour, who plays the character Black Widow's father. Most people have forgotten about this Captain America wannabe from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Taskmaster. Who liked the female Taskmaster in what movie was it? Black Widow. No one liked that character. In fact, Echo, I'll give you a little sneak peek of what I'm going to say in that Echo video. In the Let's Binge Watch Echo video, I do point out that Echo is supposed to be like a female Taskmaster with regards to her powers, but Marvel changed her powers because they must have thought to themselves, oh shit, we've already done a female Taskmaster, so we can't do it again, so let's change her powers. Let's change her powers. Let's give her Avatar powers, and let's give her some Black Panther powers. That's essentially what they did. They complete ripoff of Avatar The Last Airbender, with taking bending away, is what it seemed like they were doing. And so it's like, no one cares about the majority of these characters. The only person that they actually care about would be Bucky. But Bucky, from what I've heard, is not going to be in the first half of this movie. He's going to be in the second half, even though Yelena was apparently supposed to be the leader of the Thunderbolts at first, but then after the MCU was flopping left and right with its shows and movies and She-Hulk and all this stuff, Kevin Feige said that he changed his mind, said that Bucky was going to be the leader, because I think they noticed they were isolating their male audience and less males were showing up to their movies and shows. But now it seems that that Bucky is not going to be in the first half of the movie. So what's happening here? Is he having a smaller role with the rewrite? Are they just going to give a surprise appearance of him in the second half of the movie? But we all know he's going to be in the film, and he's most likely going to be promoting the film. Heck, he's in that poster that you can see there. So, is he supposed to have... His surprise entrance would not be surprising. So this whole thing is just weird to me. And also, in this video, Florence Pugh says that this is the director, and she shows the director, which you can see right on this right picture of her on the right here. She pans over and says, here's the director who's sitting next to that seat. And I was like, I think she said the director's name was Jake or something. And I looked at his name and I was like, he doesn't really have any credits to his name. This seems like just another one of those situations where Marvel are just getting someone cheap so they can control them and pay them very little for directing this movie. So yeah, Marvel have essentially hired another nobody director who has no style of their own and who they can boss around. Sign me up. Clearly he's going to do a great job directing this movie. So yeah, this movie to me just sounds like Marvel know no one's interested, so they're trying to make it seem like it's a super secret movie that you're not supposed to be looking at this behind the scenes footage of, but we're going to show it to you anyway, which is what Florence Pugh was doing. But it's clearly, like I said, a marketing push. Do not buy into it. Marvel are clearly worried that you're not going to be into their Thunderbolts here. And essentially it's going to be like a PG-13 Suicide Squad. So who cares? Like, seriously. Now, before we continue, I think I just scrolled past a super chat from Failsafe, or Master Combatant, who's done a $20 super chat. Seriously, buddy, that is so generous of you. Thank you very, very much. Failsafe, he says, yes, I'm talking about Kung Fu Panda 4. Tai Lung is the villain in the first film. Oh, really? The trailer advertised him, then the movie wasted him, and I hated it. I looked at my sister beside me and said, "That's it." That is not a good thing. To pull the villain from the first movie, put him into this new one, and then be like, "Yeah, we're not going to use him much." I could imagine that would suck. I could see why you would be disappointed. That is bad what they've done there. So yeah. So what do you guys think of that? You know, what they're doing with Bucky, the whole thing with Thunderbolts. Do you think that they're desperate with this little marketing move from Florence Pugh? Because I certainly think they are. No one's talking about that, but that's what I saw. Only people will care about Bucky. But the thing is, not so much people care about Bucky, because Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a show that I don't really think much people are talking about, to be honest. Like, you know, like, do people still talk about that show? A lot of people, I think, also didn't watch the show all the way through. The Dark Lord says, I don't hate him, speaking of the villain in Kung Fu Panda 4, I don't hate him in movie 4, but he was very much wasted, which hurt because he is my favourite Kung Fu Panda villain. Oh, that's a shame. I'm so sorry to hear that. Jacinda says, what's up with Red Guardian's hand behind Yelena's head? It looks weird. I mean, is there? Let's see. Oh, you mean his hand is just him waving? Yeah, that's, I don't think that's anything to really, you know, be concerned over. It's just a weird posing shot, if anything. No, City Ember, I didn't, but one of you guys told me when I said, what story should I cover in my YouTube community post? That's a shame. Sony were even doing it, I think, with a bunch of game developers, including Insomniac. Jake says, well, to be fair, I'm not sure these characters are super popular in the comics. Iron Man was, for example, but not sure about these guys. Yeah, they're not, but that goes back to another question. What the hell are Marvel doing? Why aren't they focusing on the more interesting characters? They've just got so much of these side characters and these D-list characters that we don't care about, and they're not putting in the work to make these D-list characters A-list characters, like what they did with Iron Man. So, you know, it just shows they just don't care. I will say, I was surprised when Florence Pugh actually took us to a set. I was like, oh, so you're using a set. That's new, Marvel. Because I thought the set would be full of green screens, but who knows? If you look at that little image in the second one, that little monitor that she's pointing towards, it does look like a very basic set. So I don't think it's anything extravagant. Charleston says Red Guardian looks silly in the concept art. He does, but he was silly in the Black Widow movie as well. So yeah, that's not really too much of a surprise to me, to be perfectly honest. I think they're gonna make him silly. Oh boy. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Jake says it looks like his hand shrunk and became deformed. It does look a bit odd. Yeah. But yeah, so this looks like just another movie I don't care about, to be honest. And quite frankly, that's how I feel like about movies in general lately. Like, Ghostbusters was something I wanted to see. Maybe because I had a cold or something, but I've had colds or had something that kept me from watching a new movie, and I felt kind of bad about it. Like, I want to really go see it. But I didn't watch Dune Part 2. I didn't watch Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I didn't watch Godzilla vs. X Kong, and I don't feel bad about it. Usually I would feel bad about it, like, oh, I gotta, you know, I really want to see these new movies, but lately, with the amount of stuff I still need to catch up on streaming, and the amount of stuff I still need to catch up on just pretty much with everything, it made me look at that and think, yeah, you know, I could completely ignore and just miss this movie. Like Godzilla x Kong, I think that they did a great job with Godzilla vs. Kong in terms of the fight sequences, so it's like, do I really need to see this new one? I don't really think so. I think they did a great job on that. So... Selena says, hey, tomorrow is the second anniversary of Morbius, and it's also on a joke day. That's interesting. Did Morbius come out on April the 1st? That's bizarre. Jake says Ghostbusters Frozen Empire was decent in my opinion. Feel free to disagree. That's great if it's decent, because I did want to see it. People talked about the nostalgia in the first one, Ghostbusters Afterlife. It didn't bother me very much. I still very much enjoyed that movie. So I thought that, okay, this one I'll most likely enjoy too, despite the nostalgia. Because it just doesn't bother me as much nostalgia, even though I can see through its laziness at times. Let's see, one of you said, Pizza Man 911 says, don't care about Thunderbolts because I've given up on humanity. Well, that took a dark turn, Pizza Man. I thought you said that you would say you don't care about Thunderbolts because Marvel have just dropped the ball recently. I didn't think you were going to go that dark. But then again, I've lost hope in humanity several times as well. The Monsterverse Nanimator says, the Monsterverse is a good franchise, unlike most franchises nowadays. They give the fans what they want and portray the monsters correctly. Yeah. Although I would have liked to have seen another one of the iconic monsters from the Toho Godzilla verse. Instead, it looks like they've got just new monsters that they've created. You know, no other types, which is a shame. Rohan says, damn Pizza Man. Yeah, I know. Hi Fireboy, great to see you again on the stream as well. Charles says, off topic, did you watch the Spider Within short and what do you think of it? I haven't seen it yet, so that's why I've not covered it. But I've heard great things. Jake says, humanity sometimes makes me question if we're really the smartest creatures on this planet, lol. Well, certainly when it comes to social stuff or cancel culture over... Well, I don't want to get too much into politics right now, but yeah, there's a lot of times I've looked at it and thought, seriously? I once... Where did that go? I once took over humanity since I'm a dream demon. Interesting. Failsafe has done another $10 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate these super chats you're giving. Like I said, this is the last day before YouTube tallies up my ad revenue and pays me next month where I pay the bills and everything. So, like I said, all your super chats and Streamlab chats really do help. Failsafe, or you know what? I'm just going to call you Master Combatant, even though you're called Failsafe. I miss saying that name. I got to go, Eric, but anyway, Tai Lung was amazing to me in the first film. He was literally a perfect villain to me. He was scary, a dangerous threat, and a very understandable reason to be angry. Yeah, that sounds great. I need to see the movie again to remember that, because I can't remember him very much. But yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed him a lot as a villain. Thank you very much, buddy, by the way. If you have to leave, I'm sorry to see you go, but if you have to leave, thank you very much for dropping by. We're literally going to now go on to the Venom R-rated animated movie story. So, let's move on to the next story. So, it turns out that Venom is going to get a R-rated movie, and it's not an R-rated live-action movie, which Sony promised twice with their previous two Venom films, and then they pussed out, and they ended up making just PG-13 movies of them. This seems to be like an actual R-rated movie, but it feels like, again, they're holding back. You can tell that they don't trust to make an R-rated movie with Venom in live action. So they said, alright, we'll just do it with an animated movie. It'll be cheaper for us to do it. So yeah, Venom is apparently going to have an R-rated animated movie. And apparently, they got Seth Rogan to write and produce it. And I gotta say, Seth Rogan has written, or produced, I should say, a lot of good stuff, like The Boys, Gen V, which we'll talk about later. But my problem with him is that I feel like he puts the perverted stuff in. His involvement is not the story stuff, it's the perverted stuff. It's the dirty jokes. I don't feel like he's the creative force behind these projects. So yeah, they got him on board. And to be honest with you guys, you might think I sound crazy, but I don't think that a Venom movie needs the Seth Rogen treatment. It needs a different kind of dark treatment, but not the Seth Rogen treatment. I don't want sexual jokes and gross-out humor in an R-rated Venom film, and you know that if Seth Rogen is the producer, he'll push for a bunch of those silly jokes, especially when he has the R rating. You know, in fact, I thought with Gen V, I thought they went way over the top with the nudity in that film, in that show. So yeah, I really think he needs to calm the heck down when it comes to that. But yeah, what do you guys think of the fact that we're going to get an animated Venom movie? I think it could be cool, but at the same time, it could just be really stupid. And I think Venom deserves a more serious movie, not some dumb comedy, which is what I think it is going to be. And if you want to hear crazier news with regards to Venom, would you believe that Kevin Feige wants to bring Sony's Venom into the MCU, the Tom Hardy version? Apparently he wants to put him in the new Secret Wars movie. And quite frankly, I don't know what is going on in his mind. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he says he wants Kraven in the upcoming Kraven movie to be in that film, and he wants Morbius in there as well. He's just really going over the top when it comes to this. So, yeah, what do you guys think about that? Does that sound interesting to you, or does it sound like something that you're just really not into? Hi, Gregory, and yeah, my Seth Rogan bashing makes sense when you remember how much you hated the new TMNT. Yeah, I really didn't like the new TMNT. I've not seen Dune 2 yet, Gregory, because I've been, like I said to you guys, I caught a cold. My whole video schedule has been delayed because of it. And it seems like you might have just joined the stream, Gregory, but I said earlier that my voice, when I'm trying to project and say my voice in the way that I do for these voiceovers whenever I make YouTube videos, I start coughing a lot. So I've only done like very short segments of voiceovers, but I haven't been able to fully commit yet because my voice is still not fully back, unfortunately. Ethan's drawing says, it sounds awesome, but I don't know if I'll see it or not because I don't like nudity stuff. I don't like it when it's done just for the sake of being done, and most of the time that's usually the case. The Time Shadow says, hopefully they still have Tom Hardy doing the voice. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want Tom Hardy. If they did a voice in the R-rated animated one, I'd rather have them do the voice they got for the Spider-Man 2 game, which was Tony Todd. He's got a horrifying voice, so I would rather have them do him. Big Bash says, say what you want about Topher Grace's Venom, but Sam Raimi put in effort when making him. He did, but I feel like there was also missed opportunities. And even he said that Venom was never his favourite character, but he was forced to do it, so... Gregory says, I'm on vacation, so I have to go. That's no problem. Take care, Gregory. Glad you could join the stream, even if it was for a little bit. It was glad to see you drop by. Imagine if Venom has similar humour to Sausage Potty, says Jake. Jake, that is not the thing that I want to be thinking. That sounds even worse than what came into my head. Oh, boy. The Time Shadow says, Venom is too good to be in the current MCU. I don't really think he is. I think quite frankly, they belong together, but getting crap and bringing crap into crap, quite frankly, is not what I want to hear. The Time Shadow says, hot take, I actually really like the Venom films. That's fair enough, but I didn't, as you can clearly tell from my previous statement. Jess says, can no one make a serious Venom movie? I mean, what is up with Hollywood and Sony? Sony are incompetent, and when it comes to Spider-Man especially, they are especially incompetent. George Phillips says, I think at the end of The Boy Season 3 was a bit much in terms of nudity. They could have easily made it a normal party or something. Yeah, they tried to really go over the top with that. That was gross. What happened there? Okay. We need to see what the animation looks like. Yeah, that's true. I hope they do the animation well. More close to what the Spider-Verse movie was, less close to what the Turtles movie did, which was a lot of pencil drawings. I think you would need inky drawings and like inky kind of like art when it comes to the animation in the upcoming Venom film. That's what they should want to strive for. I think because Venom is like the symbiote is like a splodge. I think designing the animation around him, making it very much like ink, would be very interesting. So I hope they take that approach. But I'm open to them surprising me if they do something even better. Spirit Hero says, every time I think Kevin Feige has said the dumbest thing, he keeps opening his mouth. Yeah, that is true. So yeah, thought on Venom in the 90s version. That was the first time I saw Venom in the 90s animated show of Spider-Man. I really liked him. Big Bash says, I believe Todd Phillips should direct Venom. He fits the vibes well. No, what I would want is... what was his name? Who directed Upgrade? He was friends with James Wan. Oh, what was his name? Because he directed that Upgrade movie, which people said is like the Venom movie that we should have gotten. He did The Invisible Man. What other movie was it? Oh, director's name. Usually I remember these names. Let me look them up. Lee Winnell. There you go. Lee Winnell. I would want him to direct a Venom movie. Because the Upgrade movie shows that he has the chops to do it. So yeah, not Todd Phillips. Jacob says, my dad literally said what your generation do to the Turtles. Crazy Cat Lady says, I've seen Boys since the first episode 1. Season 3 was too gross to me. Oh, she says, I've seen The Boys since episode 1. Season 3 was too gross to me. Yeah, it was, and I feel like they keep trying to top themselves with how gross they can get. Big Bash says, didn't they make Splinter gay in that Mutant Mayhem? I think so. I can't tell if that was a girl or a guy, that disgusting slobbery monster that he kept making out with. Again, gross out humor. And I don't like the kind of father they made him. It was just pathetic. I thought that was one of the worst versions of Splinter I've ever seen. Bill Cipher says, I hope Tom Hardy and Topher Grace come face to face. Yeah, that would be interesting. Alright, next story. The next story now is about Spider-Man 4. Tom Holland Spider-Man 4. George Phillips, if you want to watch the spin-offs, just look at the years that the movies came out and watch them in that order. That's what I would recommend to you for the Conjuring movies. Alright, so Spider-Man 4 apparently is going to start shooting later this year. And they also have apparently already got their top 2 directors list. So the first director they got is, that Sony are considering, is Justin Lin, who directed the Fast and Furious movies. Not all of them, but most of them. And the second director they got is Drew Goddard. Now, Drew Goddard, he directed the Cabin in the Woods movie. He directed a couple other horror movies as well. He's friends with Joss Whedon. And he also he helmed... was he the showrunner for the first season of Daredevil. So he helped get that off the ground. So, of the 2 directors, I don't think these are 2 great directors, personally, for a Spider-Man movie. But I do think of the 2, the one that has the most potential is Drew Goddard. Because of what he did with Daredevil. I think it would be interesting to see what he would do with Spider-Man. And if he wanted to put Daredevil in the movie, you know, what was his name? I was going to say, Charlie Cox. If he wants to put him in the movie, I would imagine he could know how to direct Charlie Cox. So that if they decide to do that, I would say, of the 2 directors, I would go with him, personally. I don't know if he's a great director for this, but it does sound like it would be interesting. But at the same time, would they give him creative control, or would they just be controlling him like a puppet? Because he was one of the people that they asked back, apparently, when Marvel were trying to do Daredevil. Remember when they fired everyone and said we're gonna redo Daredevil season 4, Born Again. Apparently they approached him, and he said no, that he didn't want to come back and helm the new season of the show, even though he was there for season 1. The reason being is because he knows what Marvel are like. He knows that they try to control you as a creator. As a creative, they don't give you any creative control. Even though they said they're going to try to get showrunners and get more of those on board, he clearly saw right through it and knew they were still going to try to control him. So he backed off and said, no, I'm not going to. Even though I started this whole character and this whole Daredevil universe, I'm not going to be a part of it. So it'd be interesting that he would even be interested in this. Does he think he's going to get more creative control, or does he just want the money because he can get some money making a Spider-Man movie? I do not know. So it's all rather interesting, I think. Jacob says, give the Russo brothers to direct Spider-Man 4. Yep, I would say give it to them, although they've not been very good with their recent movies, their non-comic book movies. They've not been doing a good job with those. So, who knows? Maybe if they go back to the comic book space, they'll go back to their glory days. That could help, for sure. But I think at this point, they've most likely already written the script. Unless they haven't written the script and they're still going to say, we've set a date for when we're going to start shooting. Yes, Pizza Man, but I think a lot of the more mature people would just try to avoid thinking that. But there are plenty of immature people that would try to do those jokes. Vasudev says, honestly, no matter who they make the director among the two, hope they give them full control and artistic liberty. I hope they don't give Justin Lin full control. Because Justin Lin, I don't know what his deal is when it comes to music and all that stuff. But it worked in the Fast and Furious movies. But do you remember when he tried to do that with Star Trek Beyond? And we all saw the trailer for it. Even I did a video on the trailer. The trailer was bloody weird. It had rock music and everything. And it felt like a Fast and Furious movie based on the trailer. And it did not look anything like a Star Trek trailer. Or a Star Trek movie. So I think if they should rein him down. I don't want rock songs playing as in Spider-Man like Fast and Furious style. That would be silly. So I would say, yeah, they would definitely need to rein him in. Give him creative control, but rein him in. But I just don't think he should be a director for this film, personally. Sad Blue Robot, no, I've not seen X-Men 97. I never watched the original show. I only watched like an episode or two. I did consider doing a quick review of it, but again, I wasn't well, so I didn't. I was going to just consider doing a review of the first 2 episodes at first, but now 3 episodes have come out, which is interesting. But don't worry, I've got a video coming out for you guys that's Marvel related, and it should hopefully come out tomorrow if all goes to plan. So what do you guys think of these 2 directors? You interested, or you think, nah, this is something we can do without? Rohan, I disagree. It doesn't mean that Spider-Man can't have any jokes in it. It can, but it just needs to know when to make the jokes and to make them funny, because they're not funny usually from the MCU. Big Bash says, who is realistically going to be the villain? That's what I want to know. Yeah, that's what I want to know too. Let's lift myself up there. Adam Grunther says, oh, yeah, one of you said Adam Grunther would show up later, and he has. Great to see you on the stream, bud. X-Men 97 is genuinely great. That's great to hear. Let me ask you this then. Is it great for people that have watched the original show, or is it great for newcomers? Because I only saw like an episode or 2 of the original show, because bizarrely, it came on TV when I was younger on the channel that I had, and then it never came on again. It was bizarre, so I would have watched it if I was a kid, but I never got around to it, so because we just didn't have the channels at the time. It's not like today where you have streaming services and everything, so I wonder, Adam, is it something that I can watch, or is it something that you need to watch the original show to appreciate it? That's what I'm curious about. Excuse me, like I said, I'm still not feeling well. Adam says, great for X-Men fans, not just of the original, but in general. So you don't have to just watch the original 90s show in order to watch this. You can still watch and enjoy it. Oh, that's interesting. That's good then, that is. I really hope the Spider-Man will be darker and not joke like other MCU movies, says Fireboy. Let's see what happens. Bill Cipher just wanted to explain that the entire reason why there were words that are being said during Electro's theme song was because the words are supposed to represent Electro having voices inside his head. You're talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2? Yeah, I agree. I'm aware of that. Adam Grunther says, I won't lie, it really helps to understand the story if you've watched the cartoon. It's not a reboot, it's a continuation. That's what I was aware of, and that was also what kind of made me feel like, yeah, I don't want to... I mean, should I watch it, or should I just not? Because I've not seen the original. I did consider watching the original leading up to this, but clearly that did not materialize. Adam Grunther says it's easily the best X-Men team-related thing since Days of Future Past. Wow. That is huge praise. Because Days of Future Past goes back and forth between being my first and second favorite X-Men movie. That and Logan are always in contention. Depends what mood I'm in, but usually Logan always takes the first spot. Wow, that's high praise indeed, that is. Very, very good. That's piqued my interest a little, that has. Cool. Spider-Man 4 doesn't have to be dark and gritty with no jokes at all. It just needs to take itself and the characters seriously and not have constant jokes, says Vazudev. Yeah, it does need to do that. Big Bash X-Men timeline is very confusing, but I think a lot of us have just made peace with it, to be honest. Oh, X-Men 97 did Cyclops justice. I did love that bit in the trailer. I did this on my trailer reaction on Patreon when he goes, "To me, my X-Men." I thought that was really cool. I actually liked that. Okay, Adam Grunther, that's interesting. That sounds cool, that does. So, yeah. I'll consider giving it a watch. Right now I'm just swamped with other videos I gotta do. And it's interesting. A lot of people seem to like this show, this X-Men show. There's others that are not so on board with it. But the chatter online and on YouTube has not been that big, which is interesting. Disney Plus always seems to be struggling when it comes to engagement of that kind. Bill Cypher says, hope you do a Kung Fu Panda versus video. It's not on my mind right now. I don't know when it will be on my mind. But I've always said this, and I'm not just saying it just for the sake of saying it, but it is true. If you guys want me to make certain versus videos, or just any kind of videos at all, you can commission them on my Patreon, and then I'll shoot them up right at the top of the list. In fact, later today, I'm planning to watch Puss in Boots 1, so I can get to do my Puss in Boots 1 versus Puss in Boots 2 versus video that was requested on Patreon, like commissioned, in fact, by Gregory Bronstein. He wanted me to do Puss in Boots 1 versus Puss in Boots 2. I says I won't be doing it until God knows when, and he commissioned it, and now it's on the top of my list in terms of versus videos that I'm working on. So, yeah. If you want that to be done sooner, commissioning it is an option. If you are willing to wait for whenever I do it, whenever that may be, that's another option. Anyway, hey Eric, what would your reaction if they made a new National Treasure? I'd be interested if they have the original characters in there. I liked the first one, didn't really like the second one, but I did like the characters. Armina says, thanks for making such great videos. That means a lot. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Adam Grunther says, oh, by the way, did you see the new Spider-Verse short? I haven't. My brother told me about it. I've not seen it, but I do want to see it at some point. I'll watch it soon. Like I said, still not feeling too well, and in order to I want to enjoy these things, and I'm hoping that, you know, the weight that feels like it's on my head kind of lifts. Then I can start going back to watching stuff. I've not seen The Bad Batch yet. Adam, I was gonna message you this. You said I was gonna pledge to the TV show tier for Watchmen, but it's at an 8-episode limit. Watchmen sadly goes over the limit with 9. I hope you at least watch it on your own time. Adam, I saw you say that you were gonna consider doing that, and I was gonna message you, but like I said, the cold and everything, my priorities like just kind of got all scrambled. I was just worried that I wasn't gonna get anything done. Then I just started sleeping all day because I had such a bad cold. I was gonna say this to you, because you've been such a long-time viewer, you've done so many donations on Patreon, you've also done so many donations on these live streams. I was gonna say, because it's only one episode, for yourself, I will just extend that rule just that once, if you want me to do if you want me to review Watchmen, basically. So I'm letting you know right now, anytime you want to commission a TV show review from me, a quick TV show review from me, you can go ahead and do it, and you can ask me for Watchmen, and I'll do it for you, because you've been a very, very long time viewer, very, very supportive, and it's just been a joy to have you on the channel all this time. You've been literally one of my longest viewers that I can remember on this channel. So if you want to, you're open to that. So I hope that makes your decision easier, if that's what you're thinking about. Big Bash says, Eric, your streams are always amazing. I sure need this one, especially being on a road trip to go home. Oh, really? That's interesting. Don't you listen to songs in the car? Have you got a road trip? Because when me and my family are on a road trip and we're doing it there on the way back, we usually have songs in the car playing. And if not that, we'll have our earphones in and just use those in the car. Or my headphones. In fact, those headphones right there where you can see my thumb, that I use those in the car. Adam says, oh man, thank you, I really appreciate that. I'm gonna wait for 2 more paychecks, then I'll pledge. I'll probably do it around May. Thank you, man. No problem at all. Thing is, you can't, it's hard to give, I wish I could like just extend my my gratefulness to every single one of you. It's not possible because I won't get anything done. In that case, I won't have time to make any videos. But I know you have been asking me a lot to see Watchmen, and if you want me to watch it, by all means, I'll if it's just one extra episode, that's okay. I'll be willing to do that. And I've made exceptions for a lot of people here and there. Heck, even Jake wanted me to do a trailer reaction for a certain trailer, and I sent him the link, even though he wasn't on Patreon. So I always try to give like little wiggle rooms for all of you. So yeah. And I'm glad you're gonna take about a couple months to do it, Adam, because man, right now I'm kind of swamped because I caught a cold. I'm swamped on the videos I gotta make, and I feel a bit swamped on the Patreon videos I gotta make. So I'm glad you're gonna take a couple months break. That'll help me out for sure. Bill Cipher says, do you watch wrestling? I actually don't. I've had a look at a couple videos, but I don't know. Wrestling to me just never gives me that satisfying action vibe that I'm looking for. So for me, it's just never quite worked. Let's see. Aritra says, have you seen Train to Busan? Yes, I have. Great movie. It was quite sad as well with the little girl and stuff. I feel like I almost need to see it again because I've forgotten a lot of it. My mum and dad watched it as well. I think they really enjoyed it too. I gave it to them after I saw it. Let's see. Fireboy, I've not seen Invincible yet. Again, like I said, I'm still unwell. As soon as I do, I'll do the Let's Watch of it on my Patreon, and then you can see me watch the rest of the episodes. Jess says, Eric, I laughed when you said, yeah, Peter, did you... Yeah. Let me say this again. Jess says, Eric, I laughed when you said, yeah, Peter, did you humiliate that boy? The same boy that got bullied, that bullied you and punched you Fight Club style? Yeah, was that in my Amazing Spider-Man 1, my Spider-Man 1 3-way versus video? Yeah, that was fun putting that joke in there. I wanted to basically have a go at that Uncle Ben because I was like, I never understood. I was like, he dealt with a bully without fighting him. So what if you humiliated him a little? I think humiliated was a very strong word. He just kind of showed how awesome he was and how not as awesome the bully was. Spirit Hero says, I just want to say, Eric, that you're really talented at what you do and you are now my go-to movie guy. Oh, really? That makes me feel bad for not watching those recent 3 movies that have come out and just reviewing them, because usually I like to do, if I do a video on them, I want to do a versus, and if I think I can't do a versus, I always think, yeah, I could do a quick movie review, but how many people will want to go to my opinions for a quick movie review like that? Maybe I'm just being too hard on myself, I don't know. Imposter syndrome tends to hit me sometimes, so maybe that's the problem. Let me see, what was the other one? Jake says, thanks for that. Yeah, no problem, bud. I'm glad you finally got to see that trailer reaction to that trailer you wanted to see. Big Bash says, I've been watching Benton, Alien Force, and Ultimate Alien again, and those shows are awesome. I love those shows, and I miss them when shows like that were being made. I miss when shows like that were being made. Yeah, I miss that too. It doesn't happen very often anymore. They seem to do a lot of flash animation, very 2D, like Teen Titans Go types, and they're all very basic. They're not as varied as they used to be back in the my Cartoon Network days. That was the prime time. That was. Adam Grunther says, what are your thoughts on Beyond the Spider-Verse being released in 2026? Has that been announced? Let me take a look. Oh, I wrote down across Beyond. Fans will, in all likelihood, need to exercise patience and wait until 2026 for Spider-Man Beyond the to swing into theaters. I don't see that's what they're saying. I see they're saying that it got removed from the slate. That doesn't seem to be official. Let me just have a quick look at IMDb. If the release date is there or something. No, there's no release date. It's not there. Adam, I don't think... I've said this in a video. I don't think it's going to come out in 2026. I think it's going to come out in 2028. Because it took 5 years for them to go from the first Spider-Verse movie to the second Spider-Verse movie, and in both those years, it took 5 years for the first... they had the first Spider-Man PS4 game. 5 years later, they then had Spider-Man 2, the PS5 game. So in another 5 years, we're going to get Spider-Man 3, the PS6 game or whatever. And I'm sure that in another 5 years, we'll then get the Beyond the Spider-Verse movie. So I think it's not going to be 2026. I'm telling you, my guess is it'll be 2028. If they really want to try to get it done even sooner, 2027. But 2028 is what I think. Eric, are you going to watch Legend of the White Dragon, says City Ember. I don't think I will be. Jake says, by the way, Teen Titans Go is crappy in my opinion. Yes, it is. And that's the opinion of many. It's just the kids of the generation that ended up watching that, unfortunately. Yeah. I'll also let you know, when I talked about the commission videos, like I've said to you guys, if you stay on the commission pledge, if you stay on that, the next month you'll get to request another one of the videos from me. So Adam Grunther said he wanted, for example, Adam Grunther said that he wanted to do in a couple of months pledge the quick TV show reviews. So basically I would work on one of them, and then if he stays pledged the next month, or any of you stay pledged the next month, that basically means that you get to request another one from me. So that's how it works over there. So yeah. And it helps me do this for a living, and the fact that I get to actually do it for the ones that you guys want specifically, and I'm still able to make this a living, that to me is the dream job. Just making videos for you guys. Like if it's just a small community that I could, for the rest of my life I make videos for, that would make me a happy man, a very happy one. The Movie King 3000 says, hey Eric, did you hear the rumor that Spider-Man might appear in the final episode of Invincible? I have not heard that. Do you mean the final episode of this season, or the final episode of the whole show in general? I've never heard that before. That's an interesting. But no, I don't think there's going to be any merit to that. There'll be lawsuits up the ass, I'll tell you. Mr. Go Animator, I'm Asian, not Indian. Right now, I've just got some eczema and I've got certain lights on me, so maybe that is giving you a different impression. Thoughts on Slifer? Are you talking about Slifer the Sky Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't know what Slifer is. Or Sliffer. Hi, Green Dragon. Yeah, Beyond the Spider-Verse was supposed to come out this week, wasn't it? I think that's why they gave us that short. That little Spider-Verse short. Because they knew that, okay, we're not going to be giving you the movie that we said originally, so we'll give you this instead. Makes me wonder, when did they animate that? Was that recent, or did they always intend to? Yeah, Lightning Shadow was also a badass name as well. Oh, King Case, nice to see you as well. Paul Durst says, Eric, what are your thoughts on James Gunn's The Suicide Squad? I really liked it. I did enjoy it very, very much. Although I did watch some clips of it recently on streaming, And I gotta say, I really don't like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, like, anymore. I think what the straw that broke the camel's back for me was in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, how Harley just speaks nothing but crap, and it feels like they're giving her dialogue for the sake of dialogue, and she doesn't shut up. That, to me, has really just... It's just made me think that Harley is just a character that is full of shit now. There's no thought behind writing her. They just try to make her say a bunch of things just for the sake of saying things, and it's annoying. And I feel like, watching back, I feel like that's kind of like... Not like as bad as it was in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but I do feel like that's kind of what they did with Margot Robbie as well. She just talks a lot. That's great, Crazy Cat Lady. That Bad Batch Season 3 is good so far. I still haven't seen a single episode yet. Like I said, when I get better, I've got a lot of stuff to catch up on. Disney, in my opinion, needs to stop the sequels and remakes of Spirit Hero. Yeah, they do. Okay, guys. We're going to move on to the final story. And the final story is more of a tragic one. Now, Gen V. This was a show that is a spin-off of The Boys, and like I said, I really did enjoy and like The Boys and Gen V. Gen V was really good. It started out, I wasn't liking it, but it got significantly better as it went. And this guy, one of the main characters in the show is a guy called Andre Anderson, played right here by Chance Perfomo. I hope I'm saying that right. And, well, unfortunate news actually happened recently. Now, this is something that I was not aware of. People say... Basically, he has had an accident, a motorcycle accident, and he has unfortunately passed away. Died in his accident. Now, it's interesting because when I put the community post out yesterday saying to you guys, alright, live stream tomorrow, what stories do you want to hear? Do you want me to hear me talk about? One of you guys said, how about the death of Chance Perfomo? I think one of you said it, and then another of you have said it. I was like, who's that? That sounds like some kind of pop singer or something. I was like, I don't know who that is. Later on that day, I was on Twitter. I looked at the trending list, and Gen V was trending. And I was like, is Gen V trending? Or have we got a Season 2 trailer already or something? And then I went into it, and they said he was Chance Perfomo, and he had died. I was like, oh... The actor from Gen V died. Which one? And they showed pictures of him. And then I was like, oh man, he died. And that is first of all, it's kind of sad. It's sad from the perspective of he was so young. He was born in 1996. So he's 1 year younger than I am. And he's 1 year younger than me. And it just feels so random that you just hear that, oh, he had a motorcycle accident. How bad was it? Oh, he's dead. That was a surprise to me, that was. And it really does feel so random. Like, you would not have expected that. I don't know how the show... And I gotta say, that is tragic from his perspective. And from the show's perspective, he was so good in the show. And I don't know how the show is going to continue without him. He was one of the best characters of the group. And to take him out, I don't see how the show can continue if they just took him out of the show. So, I think they are going to maybe have to recast him. Because otherwise, I don't really have interest in watching the show without his character. And I don't really know what they're gonna do, because he was like a top tier character. Like, what can they do with his character after this? It is quite shocking, and it is sad. It's a shame. Jess says, Eric, I'm a 2000s kid and came to this world in 2004. So did my youngest brother. Yeah, everyone, he died in the age of 27. Very young age to pass away. Yeah, Adam Grunther, I heard about that. The show's production was on hold indefinitely, is what I heard. Yeah, he's dynamic with Golden Boy. I don't know if they would have brought Golden Boy back. But, yeah. No, it really is a shame. That is right, Spirit Hero. You never know when someone might die. It could be a celebrity. It could be one of your loved ones. It could even be you. And you just never know. Big Bash says, this is why I'm grateful for what I have. You never know when you will die, so cherish life as much as you can. That is true. I don't know if I'll talk about Madam Web. We'll see. I need to see the movie first. Let me just get the videos off my plate now, and then I can relax and maybe, consider doing more of that. But right now, not yet. Just need to get the current videos off my plate. Yeah, young people and big people, Saeed. It's not just young people passing, but yeah. I just never would want to go on a motorcycle. I don't know, motorcycles to me, they always look dangerous. Even now when when I was younger, I thought the same thing. When my dad would drive in the car and you'd see motorcycles like going in front of big cars and everything. But now when I'm older and I'm actually driving myself and I'm driving on the road and then a motorcyclist like comes by, I'm like, I feel like I have to be extra careful. And not only that, but it feels like in the car you feel like you have some level of safety, but on a motorcycle you've got no level of safety. Remember Keanu Reeves when he had an accident? I can't remember if he said his tooth fell out or something. Maybe that was someone else. But he did say that he had scraped his knee or something and he could see his bone, and he said bone white is so white. So yeah, that's interesting, that. Mr. Go Animator says, bro, after seeing Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, I hope Marvel doesn't make the Thunderbolts kill the Avengers. That's not going to happen. The Avengers are not even going to be in that movie. Jake says, well as well, enjoy your life while you can. Who's your favourite character in Gen V? That is a very good question, and I cannot remember. I think it was... Was it him? It's been a while now since I've seen Gen V. I think it was him. I think he was my favourite character, which was funny because at the beginning he wasn't, but then you find out something about him, and it made him more interesting. Mr. Go Animator says, my dad in early 2000s got in a motorcycle accident, and his slip disc of spinal cord got damaged. Wow. Yeah. It's what I say. It's stuff like that just freaks me out to even think of going on a motorcycle. Just look at Tom Cruise, of all people. What he does on a motorcycle. Adam Grunther says, Madam Web made me realise that Sony is 100% the worst comic book movie franchise. Sure, the MCU sucks now, but they at least had a good run pre-Endgame. Sony has sucked from day one. Yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt. I've always said that Sony are the worst when it comes to making these movies. And I've always said that Spider-Verse, the reason that is successful is because they left it to the creatives. Because clearly, Sony thought the money was in the live-action movies. So they says, all right, we'll give our guidance to the live-action movies because we're needed there. They don't know what to do without us. So they've left the animated guys alone because they thought, that's not where the real money is. We want our live-action universe. So yeah, they did that, and look at what it's done. And the actresses, and a lot of people in general, like even there was a comedian at the Oscars, I think, who were just making fun of Madam Web, even though it's still in theaters. That's unheard of. Normally they make fun of the movie when it's out of theaters, or several months after. Not the same week or two it's been in theaters. They start making fun of it. And apparently Sony will not be happy with people are saying Sony would not be happy with that, but it's like tough. If you make shit, people are going to call it out as shit, and they've made such crap now that people are just calling it out now. Even their actors are calling it out. So it's like, at what point is Sony going to realize, okay, we need to put the effort in. We can't just crap one of these out, because otherwise we could be embarrassed. So we got to make something good. Jake, yes, the Sam Raimi movies were great. Oh, was it, Charleston? The comedian at the Oscars making fun of Madam Web was the guy who voiced Peter Porker. Interesting. That makes it even funnier. So yeah, this is going back to the topic, Chance Perfomo, the fact that he passed away, that is a shame. That is sad to hear. But it just goes to show you can never predict these things. Alright. So, now we're at the Q&A session. And you can ask your questions. Like I say, you can do super chats. You can do Streamlabs chats. All that helps towards supporting the channel. And as always, like I always say, if you support me on Patreon during this live stream, I will actually put your name, I'll write your name right under this new Patreon members section, and it will stay on here for the rest of this video's existence, basically. Your name will be viewed here for the rest of this video's existence, and it will also be shown here live, and I'll give you a shout out as well. Let me just reposition this Patreon members text. Ooh. Oh, Adam Grunther has done a super chat. Give me a second, buddy. I'll get right to it. Let me just... My OCD is driving me insane. I gotta position this better. There we go. Alright. So, Adam Grunther asks... Oh, let me just write this down. $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Adam. That really helps. Which divisive comic book film franchise that isn't active anymore do you like more? The DCEU or Fox X-Men? Fox X-Men. Instantly. Instantly. Oh, man. They would have their downs, their ups and downs, but I just liked... I liked how the Fox X-Men movies never felt like they were trend chasing. Like, Marvel had their cinematic universe, and then DC, they wanted to go run after Marvel's trends and say, we're going to try to do that. Meanwhile, Fox, they never tried to run after that. They never tried to do their big cinematic universe. Even when they did try to do that, they did it in a way that was not so forceful. They did X-Men Days of Future Past, where they managed to have the whole cast in that one movie, but they didn't all have to meet each other. The only one that did meet was Xavier. And that was a beautiful scene. That was one of the best scenes, I think. And I thought it was downright pathetic how they just copied and pasted it into Multiverse of Madness. It just shows how they have no freaking clue what they're doing. How they thought that was actually going to work. It didn't. It was pathetic. But yeah, definitely the Fox X-Men movies. I would have liked to see them do more. And of course they had Deadpool there too. The Fox were taking risks. Alright, so great question, Adam Grunther. That was a really good question. But without a doubt, Fox, for sure. What about you? What would you choose? I'm curious. Batman's Gamer says, what does IDC mean? I don't care. Oh, I don't care. Why did that not hit me first? I don't care for Thunderbolts or Brave New World because they threw them away for Deadpool already. They didn't throw them away, they moved them to the year later because they wanted to do reshoots and rewrites. I mean, the Brave New World movie, if the rumors are true from what I'm hearing, Anthony Mackie is not happy with the fact they're trying to reshoot stuff and they haven't got this new script written. And apparently he knows that they're just going to throw... Apparently they're just shooting stuff based on notes they have, but not a script. And Anthony Mackie is annoyed because he knows that they're just going to come back anyway when the script is written and they're going to reshoot all this stuff. So he's like, what's the point? What are we doing? But yeah, Deadpool looks like it's going to be good, but that's because Marvel are not... They're not taking any of their own characters. They're basically taking the Fox regime characters and using them. So the fact that they have to take other characters to make a successful movie, one that people are excited to see, says a lot about the state of the current MCU. So yeah, I've heard rumors that they're going to try to use that to fix the MCU or try to change things. Hence, Deadpool says, I'm Marvel Jesus and all that, because he's going to be able to change things. Let's hope it's for the better. I hope he goes and kills all those activist writers in the writer's room and says, now, here are the fans that read the comics, and we're going to now get them to work on these movies from now on. And Marvel executives, don't start controlling the directors. If you do, you and me are going to have a visit. You know, Deadpool can do something like that, you know, fourth wall breaking in that way. You know, like what She-Hulk did, but except they'll do it right. And in a way that is not so jarring. But yeah. Let's see. Big Bash says, can't imagine what his parents are going through. I cannot think about what it's like bearing your own children when it should be the opposite. Yeah. That would be very sad, wouldn't it? It's just, yeah, you can't imagine what that would be like. Adam Grunther says, that's true. Not to mention Logan is considered best Marvel movie ever. I can't say any DC movies got that close. It's funny because DC weren't trend chasing either. Remember when Nolan's Dark Knight movies were out? They were doing their own thing, so they weren't trend chasing either. And they did make some of the greatest like comic book movies of all time. And yeah. Meanwhile, DC afterwards started trend chasing. Rather than trend setting, which is what they used to do with the Nolan movies. Let's see, where was that other question of yours? It was about Fox, Adam Grunther. Oh, Batman's Gamer says, that's what I mean. They threw the movie away. Yeah, they just threw it to the next year. Adam Grunther said, so definitely Fox X-Men. I love the Suicide Squad, but not nearly as much as First Class, Days of Future Past, and Logan. Yeah, look, I like the Suicide Squad movie, but I don't even think it comes close to, say, like X-Men 1, X-Men 2, Days of Future Past, Logan, First Class. Yeah, it doesn't come close to those. Because those are ingrained in my mind. Like, I will remember those comic book movies forever. The Suicide Squad is not... It's not like it's not ingrained in my mind. Something is there, but it's very easy to gloss over it and then just, like, have your mind go to other comic book movies that are more, you know, remembered and all that. Have I missed another super chat? Oh, there you go. The Movie King 3000 has done a $5 super chat, and this is their 20th super chat on a live stream. That's cause for celebration. If I could let some streamers go off, I would. Let's write that down. $5 super chat. And as always, thank you very much for the super chats. I always say to you guys, these really do help support the channel. It really does. Invincible and Spider-Man teamed up in the comic, and Josh Keaton, who voiced Spider-Man in the Spectacular Spider-Man, is in the show. Ooh. That's interesting. I was never aware of that. Huh, we'll see what they do. Rohan, just like last week, you're giving me Smallville questions. What are your thoughts on Smallville Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, and Season 5 and Season 6? I like all of them. I can't go into specifics, there's just so many episodes in there. But I like all of them. I really do enjoy Smallville. There are problems in there, of course. But man, is the drama in there, the characters in there so freaking good. The father-son, you know, the relationship between the parents, between Clark and his parents, and then the relationship between Lex and his father. It's just so interesting, and the dynamics is amazing. I love Smallville. I really do. Jess says, hey Eric, did you get angry at the Sonic design back in the 2019 when you saw the trailer? I didn't really get angry because I didn't really care, but I looked at that and thought, God, are they just doing... It's like they just continue to not surprise me with how little they care and how out of touch they are. Quite frankly, it surprised me more that they said they'll change it. I was like, oh, cool. Made me respect them, it did. Adam Grunther says, hell, the only movie in the Fox X-Men movie I'd say is unwatchable is Dark Phoenix. X-Men Origins is a guilty pleasure of mine, and I do not agree with the hate for Apocalypse. It's interesting, I share a lot of your opinions there. Origins is a guilty pleasure to me. There's something very watchable about it. I don't think it did anywhere near as good a job as it should have with Wolverine's origin, especially considering how horrifying it looked in Wolverine's Nightmares in X-Men 1 and 2. So they should have tried to emulate that, but instead they made it very PG, the whole experiment that happened to him. The scene was cool, the music was cool, but still, it was just so PG, so clean, no blood around, and it didn't look like a horror movie with all those green colors like it looked in the first two movies. And Apocalypse, I agree, I don't understand the hate for it, but I will say Dark Phoenix, to me, is probably one of the worst ones, but there's still, I've still found enjoyment in it. I will say that. I did find enjoyment in it, even though it definitely is one of the worst, probably is the worst one, the more I think about it. But there's a lot of stuff I still enjoyed about it. Particularly I like the score. Wasn't perfectly fitting for the X-Men, but I thought it was still cool from Hans Zimmer. I also liked the relationship between Michael Fassbender's Magneto and the characters in there. I thought that was cool. I didn't like what they did to Xavier. And the whole thing when they said the women are always saving the men here, you should think about changing it to ex-women. That was such a low blow, pat me on the back thing that they were looking for there. It was just so silly. And then me and my brother and sisters, I even showed it to my sister to see what she thought, and even she rolled her eyes at it. And we never thought about it then, but we did go back and said, all right, did the women save the men, save the men more than the men save the women? We counted and we were like, no, the men save the women far more. So yeah, that was such a silly, it's like, they didn't even think when they put that line down, because it's not even factually true. It just felt like a little PSA moment, or like, let's just quickly put our little feminist moment here. But that made no sense. Wasn't done well. Adam Grunther says, I meant DCEU. No DCEU movie has ever been close to being called the best DC movie. Yeah, I know that's what you meant. I know. I'm just saying, before that, they were DC were kind of like in a similar boat to Fox. They were doing really great stuff, but then they ended up doing, what they ended up doing with the DCEU later, and the poor management. The Ninder has asked a very good question, says, opinion on A Quiet Place Day 1. Now, for those of you that don't know, A Quiet Place Day 1 is a spin-off Quiet Place movie that's not being directed by John Krasinski, and it has this brand new character in the movie. It's based on a female. I think she's a African-American woman, a black woman. And I did not... I'll say this. When I heard that's what they were doing, I did not like it. Day 1, making a movie about Day 1 is very interesting to me for A Quiet Place. But the reason I just don't care... I mean, it's not that I don't care, but the reason I just was not interested at all when I heard about this movie is because I wanted the Day 1 movie to take place with Cillian Murphy's character. So, because we heard about what tragedy he went through in the second movie, I wanted the Day 1 movie to take place from his perspective. And maybe we could see a bit of Emily Blunt and John Krasinski and their kids' perspective a little in the movie, but I really wanted to see from his perspective, because he said he lost his wife, didn't he? I wanted to see that and see the events that led to him being in the position he was before he was in the second movie when the family found him. That's what I really wish we would have gotten. But instead, doing this complete total spin-off that's non-related to any of these characters, I did not like that. That's a shame to me. Plus, Cillian Murphy has now got an Oscar and all that. That would have been perfect timing if this movie would have, been about him. Would have been cooler. Big Bash says, I still hasn't seen part 2. You should, it was very good. Charleston says, I'm interested in the Quiet Place prequel, but I would prefer to get it after part 3 releases. Adam Grunther says, Jimon Hunsoon is going to be in it, so I think it's about the people on that safe haven in the second one. Oh! Okay, that makes it more interesting then. Okay, I didn't think about that. Okay, you've convinced me. You've got me intrigued. I'm not fully on board, but I'm intrigued. Still, though, I would have liked to have seen that Cillian Murphy prequel movie. That's a prequel I would have wanted to see. It'd kind of be like his 28 Days Later movies, wouldn't it? But in a Quiet Place world. Jacob says, what are your thoughts on Disney announcing Zootopia 2, Frozen 3, and Toy Story 5? Toy Story 5, I think they should not have bothered. Quite frankly, I don't think they should have bothered with Toy Story 4. Frozen 3, I don't care. There's potential for them to do a great story because I think the second one just really dropped the ball. Zootopia 2, I really enjoyed the first one. Do we need a second one? I don't know. It seems a bit like they're trying to put sequels out there. But if they have a good reason for doing it, then yeah, by all means. The Logman says, is part 1 or part 2 better? I like them both, but the first one's better. But the second one was almost just as good as the first one. Like, so close. I was genuinely surprised. Source Fear says, hello, Eric. How are you? I'm doing very good. Still recovering from my cold, but I'm far better than I was just 1 week ago. So that's good. Jess says, Eric, what do you think of Loki, Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury in Kong Skull Island? They were decent, but they were very much just the characters in a monster movie, so I didn't really find them that great. Jess says, Eric, have you seen Final Destination? Yes, I have. I've seen all of them. I enjoy those movies. The only one I did not like at all, I think it was the fourth one. Even the deaths in that weren't that good. They were trying to go with that 3D trend. They were trying to chase that, and it just wasn't good. What they did, I really did not like it. It was the blood effects did not even look that good, and they were trying to make it 3D, so that's why. And yeah, Spirit Hero says, I gotta go, Eric. Yeah, that's no problem. Thanks very much for dropping by, Spirit Hero, for being here for an hour and 30 minutes. That's how long we've been doing the stream for. Okay, I'm gonna probably do the stream for about 15 more minutes, and then I'm gonna head out. So yeah. Yeah. Thoughts on New Mutants, says Adam Grunther, who's done a $2 super chat. Again, thank you. Damn, keep dropping this pen. Thank you very much, Adam, for the $2 super chat. Thoughts on New Mutants. I like that it was attempting something different, but it just didn't quite work out in the end. I wasn't mad at the movie, for sure, but I did expect more from it. And I didn't like the love story. The director of the movie was the guy that did... it It was kind of like a chick flick that my sister watched. It was some dramatic movie. What was the movie that the director made of New Mutants? Let's quickly look it up. Josh Boone, who did... Let's see, I want to quickly get that. The Fault in Our Stars, that was it. The Fault in Our Stars. He directed The Fault in Our Stars. I've not seen that movie, but I've heard what it's about and stuff, so you get the general idea what that movie is. And I felt like New Mutants felt like it was two completely different movies. It was a horror movie, and then it was The Fault in Our Stars. It felt like they were trying to do two completely different things, and the movie felt like it didn't combine itself in the two movies. It didn't seamlessly connect. It felt like it was two completely separate movies combined into one. And I wish they took that love story out. You've got kids in like this haunted house. Do something with that. The whole love story angle, I just didn't. It just felt like I was watching a movie that I normally would not watch. But I'm kind of being forced to watch because it's in a movie that I would watch, if you know what I mean. I did not like that. Do you remember the animated Marvel movies, says City Ember 313? Not really, because I never really watched the animated Marvel stuff, because Marvel were never really good when it came to animation, if you watch most of their animated movies. I tried to watch one Iron Man anime movie. Man, was it so slow and boring, I stopped watching it. I even watched an anime Wolverine show on Netflix. It was supposed to be based around Japanese or something, and Moriko and all that. First few episodes were interesting and cool, but then it just felt like it was just non-stop filler. Even the action got boring, and it got less bloody as well. So weird. Thoughts on Inside Out 2? I like the idea of it. I think I've done a trailer reaction on my Patreon of Inside Out 2. So yeah, give it a check it out on Patreon. You'll see my thoughts on it. Big Bash says, A Quiet Place is how a live-action Last of Us should have been done, in my opinion. I agree, because I said that when I also reviewed, did my Versus video on A Quiet Place. I said that John Krasinski looks like he could play Joel. Adam Grunther says, I think Anya Taylor-Joy as Magik, sister of Colossus, and the Smile Man was probably the best thing about that movie for me. Everything else was kinda okay at best. Thing is, I can't even remember much of her in the movie. I remember those smile people, they looked freaky. In the trailer, we just saw a big smiley face, but when you saw their sharp teeth or whatever, I was like, wow, that's some good horror stuff right there. So yeah, but the movie in general was just very forgettable. City Ember says, hey Eric, do you miss the DCEU? I'll be lying if I didn't say I missed part of it. There was still always an intrigue about the DCEU, because they would always get big directors on board and stuff like that. It was always fun to see what they would do. And DC, in terms of production values, I would always like the production values of their movies, even though the last couple kind of did fall short. But yeah, I always like the variety from DC. Jess says it's Craven time. Jess also says, Eric, will you watch The Craven the Hunter because of its rating? No, because I'm not that easy to please. That, oh, they gave it the R rating, I'll go watch it. They should have given Venom the R rating. To me, it looks like it's just... At this point, if you've watched Madam Web, and you think, oh, I'll go see another Sony Spider-Man movie, I don't know what to say anymore. The Madam Web and Morbius says everything you need to know about Sony and their solo Spider-Man spin-off movies, you know, so yeah, I have no faith in them. Jake says, imagine if Mean Girls had an alternate ending where Regina going insane due to her loss of popularity, but she decides to blow up the whole school. Someone wrote this ending and sent it to me. What the F? Dude, what the F is exactly what I was thinking. I'm surprised you even told me that. That is insane. My mind would never go there for the Mean Girls ending. Although probably it would be more shocking in the musical, with all those musical numbers happening, and then at the end that happened. But yeah, that is a damn dark thing to hear, that is. Eric, watch Kang in Earth Mightiest Heroes. They actually made him powerful and interesting. I think my young brother used to watch that when he was little. He used to watch that show. Jess says, Iceman and Fireboy from X-Men look like James Franco and Topher Grace from Spider-Man 3. I can kind of see what you mean. The Logman, have you seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Yes, I did. I saw it years ago when I was younger on TV, if you believe it. Now we watch streaming services and stuff. Back then, we actually watched TV, and it was on there. Me and my sister watched it. Miles Adair, great to see you here, buddy. Hey, Eric, I think you heard about Godzilla Minus One, won for the best VFX at the Oscars. Even directors praised the movie, like Spielberg, Nolan, John Carpenter, and Guillermo del Toro. Did Nolan praise Godzilla Minus One? I didn't hear that. Interesting. Because I said that Godzilla Minus One feels like it's a perfect double bill movie to watch right after you've watched Oppenheimer, so you get to see the whole other side of it, you know, of the atomic bomb and everything. But that's interesting. That's cool. Adam Grunther says, as a shared universe, I think the DCEU was pathetic, but when it stopped doing that, I think it finally worked. Aquaman, Shazam, and the Suicide Squad showed that the most. I agree. Those are some of my favourite movies in there. It is sad they didn't really quite continue with that. I think the management was starting to mess around, because that's when they were trying to get Michael Keaton in The Flash, then Michael Keaton in Aquaman 2, but then they wanted Ben Affleck in Aquaman 2, then they wanted Ben Affleck in what was it? It was just a mess, basically. There was a lot of reshoots going on and stuff, and they were trying to... New management was coming in, and they were trying to fit the movies into their new vision for the future of the universe, which then just got scrapped altogether. It's a shame. I really feel like it's a shame for Aquaman 2. I want to see what James Wan would have done, because I know he's capable of making a very coherent movie. All his movies are coherent, but Aquaman 2 felt very much like it was studio meddled a lot. Like they really went in and started cutting the movie up in the editing room. It's such a shame. Fireboy says, I have to go, Eric. Well, take care, buddy. I'm going to be going in about 6 minutes, so yeah. If anyone's got any questions they want to ask me, they want to get the questions like prioritized, then the super chats and the Streamlabs chats are there. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue answering questions like I've been doing here. So, the G Gamer says, Batman Begins or The Legend of Korra? I would say... I haven't seen all of Batman Beyond, but the first season was great because it had a continuous story, but then seasons 2 and 3, I think that's the reason I kind of dropped off, is because they started to be a lot more self-contained, which I didn't like as much as the actual story going on, but I'd say Legend of Korra, even though Legend of Korra has its problems. The Ninder says, predicting your top 5 worst movies of 2017 because I'm bored. Spider-Man Homecoming is 5th place. 4th place is Star Wars Last Jedi. 3rd place, Beauty and the Beast. 2nd place, Flatliners. 1st place, Justice League. Justice League probably would have been in 4th place, I think. 4th or 3rd place, I actually think. But yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Did I not do a top 5 worst on 2017? Adam Grunder says, have you considered checking out Shin Godzilla? The human characters aren't as good as -1, but Godzilla is at his most terrifying. Yes, I have. After seeing Godzilla -1, I don't know if I said it in my review, but I actually wanted to see Shin Godzilla. So I will be watching it, but again, like I said, when the cold has been removed, then I'll see it. When the Movie King 3000 says, when are you going to continue the Invincible Let's Watch? When my cold is kind of gone. Because like I said, I've still got this weight on my head and it hurts, so I want to do the Let's Watch properly for you guys, so that's when I'll do it. Source Fear says, are you looking forward to Sonic 3? Yes, I am looking forward to it. I'm curious to see what they do. Adam Grunther says, I have to head out as well. Have a great rest of the stream. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Adam. I'm glad you did. It was great. And thanks for the donations and for the super chats. I really appreciate it. Take care, buddy. I really, really appreciate it. Big Bash says, I cannot watch Aquaman anymore because of Amber Heard's horrible actions. I can't watch it anymore either. It's a shame because that movie, you guys know how much I love it. That first one and the visuals and everything. Oh, you only started the worst of list in 2019. Oh, interesting. The Movie King 3000 says, you enjoy yourself, Eric. I will try. I think I'm losing my voice again now. I think I might end this stream in a couple of minutes. Or what are your thoughts on Zack Snyder saying that Batman can kill? He's going to say what he's going to say. As an alternate version of Batman, yes, but the definitive one you're trying to make, you got to follow his rules if you're making the definitive Batman. Most people want a definitive Batman. If you're going to do an Elseworld one, do an Elseworld one, but you can't be the main one then. Comic Book King says, I suggest you watch the Justice League episode in Batman Beyond Season 3. I think I've seen it. Where you have younger Batman and older Batman in there. Wasn't that in Justice League Unlimited? Where they all team up. I think that was Justice League Unlimited. The G Gamer says, is there a movie that no matter what you would refuse to watch, even in a commission? Yeah. Any I don't know if YouTube likes saying the word that starts with P and ends with N, four-letter word. But yeah, basically any of those sexual movies that cross a line, those are the ones that I would not watch. So no 50 Shades or anything like that. In fact, if you go to my Patreon, I actually say which movies I will not do if you pay to commission them. And I say 50 Shades and movies like that are like a no-go. So I say, so don't even request those. So yeah, I've put my safeguards in place, for sure. I will just quickly say to you guys, something I've been doing lately is I've been using my Steam Deck OLED. Has it finished charging? Yes, it's finished charging. Let me just get it. It was on 20% charge, and I thought I'd charge it for later after the stream. I will not refuse to watch Twilight City Ember, so if you actually want to commission that and get me to watch it, I will. So, yeah. Yeah, Charleston, you got it right there. That's the one that I don't... no movies like that, basically. Yeah, anyway, the Steam Deck OLED. I've been playing Ghostbusters, the 2009 Ghostbusters game on this, which was supposed to be like the Ghostbusters 3 with the original voice actors in it, and the original writers of the movies coming in and writing it. It's been so much fun playing it on the Steam Deck. I've never had time to, but now I've actually been playing it. I think I've only got a couple levels left maybe at this point, but I've been thoroughly enjoying it. And I love when games have a beginning, middle, and end, and they don't just constantly... like just keep going for hours and hours until they get boring eventually. So I do like that. So I'm going to continue playing that later, hopefully, as well. Let's see. What did one of you say? It was Big Bash. Eric, I have a question. I want to create versus videos of my own, and I want advice on how to do it properly. Well, all you got to do is take 2 movies that you want to watch or compare, write notes for both of them, and then try to cross-reference the notes in your main script, where, in the main script that you do. It is very tricky and disappointing. That's why I say it's hard to do a versus video with 2 movies. It's hard to do it with 3. I have had some magical moments. This is early on when I was doing versus videos, where I could just write them from beginning to end, and they just the script happened to fall into place. But when my versus videos became more, like longer, more detailed, I couldn't do that anymore. So I've written them the way I do now, which is more tricky, but it's the way the scripts are done. Basically, just be honest, write what you like, what you dislike, talk about the craft of the filmmaking if you want, basically stuff like that. Compile your notes, organize them so it feels like there's a structure going on, and then yeah, that's how you would write your script for a versus video. Then it's all in the editing, and the editing really is all about you. It's like when they say an artist and their brush, when they express their own, artistic abilities. That's what you basically need to do when it comes to editing and presenting your thoughts. And it is tricky to find it. I remember my first versus video was the Lemony Snicket's versus a series of unfortunate events. That took me a month to make, from writing it to editing it, because I had to figure out my style. I kind of had an idea of it in my head before I wrote the script, and as I was writing the script, but you don't truly get to visualize that idea until you're in the editing room and you start editing it. So yeah, that's what it is. Take as long as it needs to make the first one. That's my best advice. And then eventually you'll start to fall into the flow of things, and you'll start to pick up on okay, this is how I can do the rest of these as well. So that's my advice to you. Orangutan, great to see you here, buddy. He says, "Hey Eric, I might not be available for next live stream because it's my birthday, but is it possible for you in a live stream to discuss Jurassic World 4 and that Gareth Edwards is directing it?" I think I did discuss it briefly when someone asked me a question about it in one of my previous streams. But yeah, I could try doing that next time, yeah. Jake says, "Oh cool, that's a good game. I played it back in the day, but unfortunately the disc got scratched and wasn't able to finish the game past a certain level. Oh, that's a shame." But yeah, it's super cheap on Steam now. I think I paid only was it £1.49 for it? Let me take a quick look. I've got my spreadsheets here for how much I've spent. How much should I pay for it? It was dirt cheap, which is so fun. It's like, why play these new games that are broken and try to scam you when you can pay so much less and get these old games that you've always wanted to play but you never had the time to? Let's see, where is it? Ghostbusters Remastered, £2.49, and I bought it on December, and I only just now got around to playing it. So yeah, and it looks great Like, absolutely phenomenal on the Steam Deck OLED with the OLED colors. The Proton packs really pop with their colors. And because it's a horror game, you're in a lot of dark environments. And the game looks like, you know, in a horror environment where everything is dark, the blacks are so black on the OLED screen. So I deliberately was holding off on buying that game because it was on deals on discount several times, but I was deliberately holding off of buying it so I could play it on the Steam Deck OLED at some point, and I'm so glad I did. Hey Eric, do you see the Star Wars Battlefront remake and how bad it was? I have. It's bloody ridiculous. That company, that Aspire, the developer, when I got my MacBook Pro, my first Mac back in 2013, I paid them to get Star Wars The Force Unleashed, the first one, and I played it on my Mac. And I thought it was a pretty good port from PC to Mac. And to see how hard they've fallen is shocking. Especially because I paid to also get the Force Unleashed 2 on my Steam Deck as well on PC. And for them to fall that far, shocking. George Phillips says, I paid £4 for Ghostbusters. Oh, cool. That's still a good deal. But yeah, it's cool. That's the cool thing about Steam. A lot of games are getting way too expensive now with the retail price going up $10 and with the leaks from Sony that they want their games to cost $100. It's disgustingly expensive. Games are more of an expense now than they are a fun hobby like they used to be. But it's really cool that on Steam you can get these games for super cheap if you wait long enough. So I like that a lot. I was playing Guardians of the Galaxy and I thought, okay, I'm coming towards the end of the game now, and I found out I was only halfway through, and I was like, okay, I need to take a break from this game. Hopefully after I finish playing Ghostbusters, maybe I can go back to that, or I can go back to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on the Steam Deck, because I stopped playing it on the PS4 after a while, and it is a much better game to play on the Steam Deck. It's easier to also track where you're going. Oh, really, George Phillips? You bought it the night before you saw Frozen Empire? Cool. Have you seen the Bad Boys 4 trailer? I have not. But I've not even seen the Bad Boys 3 movie. EA Battlefront 2 was bad at first, but it got better. I heard that about Battlefront 2, but that was such a big problem that it was causing that year when it came out. I remember they were really trying to scam people. George Phillips says, I recently bought Cyberpunk for £25. I don't spend that much money on games personally. The only game I did spend a lot of money on was Hogwarts Legacy because I was going to do a video on Patreon about it on my game show. But because of stuff, I never quite made the video on time, even though I've edited the voiceover and everything. I just need to record the footage now, and I can put it on my game show. The $5 perk, that is, you can see there. Then I can put it up. Charleston says, Jedi Fallen Order is an amazing game. You'd love it. Yeah, I'm playing Fallen Order. I just don't like the backtracking. The backtracking to me kills the game for me. It did on the PS4. I was like, I can't do this. Way too much backtracking. But backtracking on a Steam Deck where you can put it in sleep mode and everything is easier. I still don't prefer it, but it is easier. Whereas on the PS4, you have to stay there for hours with one session. Otherwise, you got to turn the system off, then load it up. It's just, I don't like playing on consoles as much anymore because I like the seamlessness of putting your console into sleep mode on the Steam Deck and then waking it up from sleep mode and going right back to where you left off. With these PS4s and stuff, I was playing the PS4 a couple days ago. I was playing Uncharted 4, and I was like, this is just not as fun anymore because I know I got to have a several-hour gaming session here if I want to make any progress, because once I finish playing, you got to turn the system off, and it takes a while to turn it back on again. Whereas on the Steam Deck, all these games you play them, literally just put them on sleep mode, off sleep mode, and you can get right back into it. It's a shame that you just can't do that with these modern consoles. I think that's reason enough for me not to want to buy them personally. Kevin says, what's your favourite Will Smith movie? Nice to meet you, by the way. Oh, thanks. My favourite Will Smith movie is probably Enemy of the State. Enemy of the State and iRobot. But probably Enemy of the State. Jess says, Eric, will you watch the Knuckles series? I don't know. I'll wait until it comes out. But as you can tell, I'm really already quite far behind with the shows that are coming out, so we'll see. Jake says, Sonic Generations is being released on modern consoles this year. Cool. Oh, is it one of those remastered stuff they're doing? But if PS5 is backwards compatible, can't you already play Sonic Generations from the PS4 version? I don't know for sure if it is, but yeah. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can just go to the boss almost right away, by the way. Oh, interesting, City Ember. George Phillips says, I only buy one full-priced game a year. My problem is when I see a deal, I'll buy the game and play like an hour and not play it for ages. I did it for Ghostbusters, even God of War. That can happen. And it has happened to me. That's why you try to make sure that you buy them, A, when they're super cheap, but also you resist. You only buy it if you know you're going to play it. That's what I do. But I did before I bought my Steam Deck, I bought a few games that I thought I would want to play on it. Just like the Just Cause games. I thought, let's get Just Cause 1, 2, and 3. The first two games were problematic with the Steam controller input. I don't know if they've sorted themselves out now, but, you know, wasn't that impressed with that. And then Just Cause 3, I tried to play that, and I was like, I don't think I want to sit through this. And I was like, wow, I just paid for 3 games. Very cheap, I've got them for. Very, very cheap. But I paid for 3 games that I don't really feel like playing. I was like, that's not so cool. I don't like them being on my all games list on my Steam library. I only want games that I know I'm going to play to be on there. But yeah, so it becomes a skill, funnily enough, in of itself, to resist buying games just because they're on a good deal. And I feel like I've learned a lot about that now. I mean, PS4 games, I'm not buying them anymore because, like I said, I just can't play these games on the PS4 anymore because I only have time to play a little bit and then to turn it off and then come back. And I can't do that on consoles, but I can do it on the Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck really has changed the way I play games now. Let's see. I like how one of you... Where was it? It was Charleston says, I can understand why you'd hate the backtracking. Yeah, that was enough to just make me feel like, I'm spending like about an hour backtracking when I could have spent that time actually playing the game. They could have done a cutscene and just took you back to your ship. But instead they did this. I hated that. And that map is tricky to navigate at times as well. The G-Gamer says, for the commissions, minus any of those 50 Shades movies, is there any others that are fine to watch, but you boycotted due to any reason? Not that I can think of. I mean, give it a go. You can, submit a donation if you want to do one of those from me, and then you can ask me, and I'll let you know. If I say no, I'll give you a refund. I'm not going to do that, but mostly I'll be up for anything, really. If there's a reason I boycotted it, the movie, for example, I can tell you why I boycotted it. Saeed says, I just opened fast now. Oh, that's great, buddy. I'm sure that means you're gonna have a bunch of food now. So don't worry, I won't keep you on this stream feeling like you'd be on this stream. I'm sure you and your family are gonna want to go and eat now. It was a pleasure doing this live stream with all of you. It really was. I wasn't feeling too well today. Still, like I said, there's this weight on my head and the coughs come when you least suspect it. But I really had a lot of fun chatting with all of you guys. I don't know how many of you have stuck around for all of this, but it was as it always is, it was an absolute pleasure doing this live stream with you guys. Thank you very much for your super chats. You guys really do help me when it comes to supporting me. Like I said, the goal is to make this my full-time job where I can keep making videos for you guys. And once I reach that stage, I would be very, very happy. So consider checking on Patreon if you want to if you are able to support the channel. It really will help. And yeah, thank you very much for everything, guys. It is an absolute pleasure. Very quickly from George Phillips. Oh, well, City Ember. City Ember says, imagine everyone does Morbius versus video and he has to boycott it. I won't boycott it. George Phillips says, Jesus, you just reminded me of all the games I need to play. I've counted like 9 freaking games. There's probably more. I keep buying trilogy games and not playing them. I know what I'm doing now. Keep on doing a great job on your videos, like Siskel and Ebert, says Kevin. Oh, thanks very much for that. A lot of you are saying goodbye. Thank you very much. Final one from Jake, and that will see us out. Also, Epic Mickey is coming to modern consoles. I remember liking the game back in the day, but never finished it due to getting sidetracked by other games and schoolwork, I guess. Lol. Lol indeed, buddy. That's happened to me too. I know the feeling. So, thank you very much, everyone. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for the donations, and I will catch all of you very soon. Take care.